I watched some of these hearings today, and they were disgusting. Radical leftists like Bernie Sanders, radical leftists demanding that Trump's nominees agree with their left-wing kook agenda. And the big one, of course, is climate change, because, as you all know, the whole purpose of that hoax is to, in essence, nationalize the economy through the back door. Not in one big swoop, but just endless cuts to the EPA and so forth. Also a massive transfer of wealth from our country to other countries, from our industries to foreign industries. It's just, if you read Plunder and Deceit, or if you've heard me talk about it, there's an entire chapter on this. This comes out of the left. It comes out of Europe. Like the entire progressive movement came out of Europe. Marxism came out of Europe. The Third Reich came out of Europe, and so forth and so on. These are all alien to the American heritage and experience. But it doesn't matter, because the left is alien to the American heritage and experience. So they seek to destroy this society from within. Even if they're senators or congressmen, it doesn't matter. That's what they seek to do, and that's what they are doing, frankly, and they've succeeded greatly. Now, Bernie Sanders is a pathetic, old-time Marxist. That's what he is. I don't care what anybody else says. And the guy came in a close second in the Democrat primary for president. And then the populist nationalists say, we ought to try and work with those people in a coalition. I don't understand that argument at all. No, we need to defeat these people because they're out to defeat us. They're out to destroy our society. Bernie Sanders at the HHS confirmation hearing today for Tom Price to be Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Health and Human Services. Cut 14, go.
The United States of America.
I can't even stand this guy's voice. Go ahead.
The United States of America is the only major country on earth that does not guarantee health care to all people as a right. Canada doesn't.
All right, stop, dimwit. It cannot be a right. Because rights are not something that beneficiaries or recipients get as a matter of government dictate. And because you have other human beings, what are you going to do, enslave them, force them to service that right? Whether they're doctors or nurses or janitors at hospitals? And this crap about it being a right, ask the vets at the VA if their rights in government-controlled Soviet-style health care is being serviced properly. Oh, it's a right. Ask people on any level of government health care if they can see their doctors on time, if they can see specialists on time. Oh, it's a right, don't you know? Well, what's a right? We never engage these people. We never debate these people. We never expose them. It's a right to have health care. Well, then I would suggest that all you veterans who don't think you're getting the proper care at your veterans hospital, your VA hospital, you make it clear it's a right. And you expect to get care when you want it, when you need it. Because it's a right. And you can quote Bernie Sanders. Now, of course, the doctors and everybody else, the providers, what are they? They have no rights, apparently. It's just so stupid to let the left get away with this stuff all the time. Go ahead.
Major country in Europe does it.
Every major country in Europe treats it as a right. And every major country in Europe sucks. Their healthcare system sucks. They can't get the kind of care they need in a timely fashion. But it says everything when Bernie Sanders points to Europe. The whole mentality of communism and socialism comes out of Europe. Centralized, iron-fisted government comes out of Europe. Not America, Europe. The widespread misery that our country had to deal with in World War II and I and II came out of Europe. We shouldn't seek to copy Europe. Europe should seek to copy us. Go ahead.
That health care is a right of all Americans, whether they're rich or they're poor. Should people, because they are Americans, be able to go to the doctor when they need to, be able to go into a hospital because they are Americans?
Yes, we're a compassionate society.
No, we are not a compassionate society. In terms of our relationship to poor and working people, our record is worse than virtually any other country on earth.
You are a piece of crap, and you always were a piece of crap. Throwback. Communist throwback. No, we're not a compassionate people. the American people. This just shows you how sick the Democrat Party has gotten. This guy gets 45% of the Democrat vote in their Democrat primaries. And clowns on our side, oh, poor Bernie. Poor Bernie, the primary was stolen from him. Gives a crap about Bernie. No, we're not compassionate society, ladies and gentlemen. Massive redistribution of wealth, massive taxation, massive debt. But it's never enough for a cook like this nut. Go ahead.
Rate of childhood poverty of any other major country.
All right, stop. Let me help you. Leave it right there. I covered this on Levin TV, but it's necessary to hit it here. BBC News, 3 days ago, where healthcare is a right in Britain, where everybody has yellow teeth because dental care is a right. You just can't get it. Doctors warn over cancer op cancellations amid NHS pressure. In other words, doctors warn that people who need operations because they have cancer can't get them. They're being canceled. Hey, healthcare's a right, don't you know? Senior doctors say they're concerned about the number of cancer patients having their operations canceled amid tremendous pressure facing the NHS in England this winter. See, it's like the third world. Winter comes. Oh, my God, we're running out of syringes. Ian Erdley from the Royal College of Surgeons said a shortage of beds was one of the causes. Such surgery is usually protected under treatment time guidelines. The NHS said it was pulling out all the stops to ensure patients receive surgery as quickly as possible. A spokesman for the NHS England said there had been a steady increase in the number of operations over the last 15 years, and more people were surviving cancer than ever before. How come Bernie Sanders doesn't mention that nowhere on the planet do people have the best chance of surviving cancer than in the United States of America? Nowhere on the planet do people have the best chance of surviving heart disease than in the United States of America. Everybody and anybody gets access to the same treatment just by walking into the emergency room. Guidelines for hospitals in England stipulate that cancer patients should be seen within 31 days and receive primary treatment within 62. In November 16th, the latest period which NHS figures are available, the 62-day target for treatment to start was missed, with 84% of patients being treated in that time frame instead of 85%. Mr. Erdley, vice president at RCS, said most hospitals were able to see more than 90% of the patients within that time period. But in the past year, it's been more difficult to achieve. And it goes on. You want to know why? They're running out of beds. Now, why are they running out of beds? Does anybody know? Because everybody has a right to health care. In the paradise that is the British healthcare system, more and more seniors remain in the hospitals longer than they need to. Do you want to know why? Because the government not only nationalized the healthcare system, they've nationalized senior care. There's nowhere to send them. So they stay in the hospitals until they can find some place to send them outside the hospitals. And so the pressure keeps building and building and building. The demand cannot be met because centralized government cannot manage a complex system. It can't even manage the Obamacare website. It can't even give out driver's licenses competently. It runs tens of billions of dollars in debt every year. Money that's lost to waste, fraud, overlap, abuse. They don't even know. But Bernie Sanders says the paradise that is the British healthcare system is an absolute human right. You have a human right to wait in line to get a cancer operation and die while you're waiting. Now imagine if it's not cancer. Imagine if you have a broken hip. Imagine if you broke your leg or your arm. And what about the diagnosis? How long does that take to get? Oh, this is a humane system, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely humane. It is a sick ideology on the left. Marxism, communism, socialism, call it whatever you want. It is a sick ideology. Society after society that has gone in that direction, every one of them has paid a severe price in human lives and the quality of life. And this fool dares to say that Americans aren't compassionate. I would also remind Bernie Sanders, the communist that he is, that we have young men and women overseas, not his children or grandchildren, We have young men and women overseas defending people they don't even know in one hellhole after another. And so many have perished. And so many have been severely wounded. I find nothing but contempt for this man. Full contempt for Bernie Sanders. And Tom Price did a hell of a good job trying to fend off this kind of a communist kook. Go ahead.
And half of our senior older workers have nothing set aside for retirement.
Whoa. So people don't put money aside for retirement. Is that my fault? I don't understand his point. Oh, yes, I do. Go ahead.
Compared to other countries, we are particularly
shut up, you idiot. That's enough. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.